Thank you, Shashank. Respected Pinaki Mishra ji, who is MP Lok Sabha from Puri constituency, where this Triennial is going to take place. But for MP and ArtOTIA 2020, or ArtOTIA, the organization, Mr. Pinaki Mishra is not just an MP, not just a member of parliament, but he is a great guide, a visionary, and I identify him as more as an art collector and a person who understands art rather than a politician who just fights it out either in his constituency or in the Lok Sabha. Shabana Azmi ji, definitely she's a great actress, but I identify her as a great activist. So today we are all here to hear something about activism, art activism. And Prabhakar Kolteji, as you know, maybe he was reminding me of 70s. He was talking about union, to make union in amongst artists. So it is something, a very sublime thought, but something very impossible. Because if you are working in a factory, it is very easy to have a union. Because you are working in a certain conditions or within certain conditions, and you are suffering or you are taking advantage of certain situations. So it is always possible for the leaders to come and form a union. But look at artists. Each artist is an island. Each artist is a utopia of humongous ego. Each artist is a wonderful creature that thinks that there is no other creature like that in this world. Absolutely unique. So, even if union is possible among the film workers, film stars, models, but it is very difficult to get artists into a union. But Prabhakar Kolteji is such a dynamic spirit, and I am sure that if not today, you never know that one day there will be a day that artists also have some kind of a union. Lilita Lajpiji, I know that she came to Rajpur when I was there, and it was so touching a feeling, a touching an experience for me, because she didn't have some kind of real proper health at that time, but she just walked to all the hill caves like Khandagiri caves, like Chitish only took us there, and she was very excited because even at this age, even at this young age, she keeps such a good spirit, such a young spirit, so that she could imbibe not only the traditions of art, traditional art, but also the contemporary feel of art. Rajendra Patil, as you know, there is one more Patil in the city, so he would like to know as Pa-Ra. Patil Rajendra. So he always insists that I should be known as Para. It's good that there should be, when two people have the same name, there should be some kind of a distinction, which should be qualitative, I should say. He has been inspiring youngsters, he has been curating shows, and I'm very happy that he's our mentor director, and definitely the person behind this scene, and he is energy, he is the light, that is Shashank Mahapatra. I came to know and I came in contact with the Shashank Mahapatra just a year back, but suddenly, it is very difficult, as I am also belonging to, as I also belong to the artist community, I am also very heavily ego-ridden, and to accept another brother is very difficult. But I would accept Shashank as my brother, an artistic brother, He deals with a lot of social, issues, and he's an educationist himself. But I found how easily he could actually transfer himself into the mold of an artist and an art organizer. So I am in that crowd, and definitely I have all these friends. Most of them I know know by name, and they are all here, just waiting this OTIA to happen. But before I enter, I just to take 2 minutes from you. Pinagiji talked about the greatness of Mumbai. Prabhakar Kote ji, Shabana Azmi ji, Azmi, everyone speaks of the greatness of Mumbai, how great a city it is, or it has always been, and it has been actually supporting and celebrating artists, and we have the same names, Souza, Raza, Hussain, the same names. 2008. On that fateful day, on 26/11, there was a huge attack. I need not explain what happened. Somehow, I was also in Bombay at that day, not in this side where the attacks happened, but far away, in another place called Borivali. So, the next day, the very next day, and many days after, I have been looking at the newspapers, Times of India, all the newspapers. I was looking for one comment from an artist. One comment from an artist, what he or she felt because that city, their city, was vandalized, attacked. Artists were talking in their studios, within their families, but not a single journalist cared to ask a question, how did they feel? What does that mean? Or what did that mean? It meant only one thing, that art didn't matter. Artists didn't matter. When there is a deluge in Mumbai, when the streets are full of water, covered with water, if Amitabh Bachchan and his family are caught, then that is the national news. But if an artist is suffering, his studio is flooded, all his valuable works are lost, it never makes into to the news. So there is something wrong with our art scene. So I believe when Mahatma Gandhi in 1930, when he decided to take up this Dandi March, he took salt as his imagery, as his metaphor. Why? Because there is a pinch of salt in everybody's life. Tata Steel advertised, there is a bit of steel in everybody's life. But it is very difficult to say with that kind of conviction that there is a pinch of art in everybody's life. Perhaps the postmodern freedom tells us, or gives us this freedom that to say that we are our artists. Osho Rajneesh once said, you could be an artist provided if you are sweeping with artistry. If you are sweeping the floor with artistic bend, then you are an artist. Postmodern theorists, including Frederick Jameson, they all say that anything could be art. Anything could be turned into an artist. You have heard this artist name called Joseph Boyes. Even peeling the potato could be an art form. But somehow, when we use this term, quote unquote art, suddenly we are scared. We always think that art is for somebody else who are sort of, elite, or who could just go into a gallery, who could actually participate in programs like this. But let me tell you, when programs like Triennials and Triennials take place, the whole idea changes. I will give you a small example. Even if I was debating the idea of Kochi Muslims Biennale, many of you know that, like how vehement a critic I have been about that. When this thing happened, it's slightly funny also. The average Malayali auto driver, Kerala has union. You can, you may be shifting your house you have a truckload of things, you yourself can bring it down and put it in your new home, but the money should be paid to the laborers union. So nobody knew what this particular word installation, because KMB was projecting this word installation. So people didn't know. So when actually installations happened, KMB was inaugurated, people went there and they saw some kind of heaps of metals or this or that, some kind of rubbish heaped somewhere, and titled that this is an installation by so and so. The Kerala people, as it was hugely advertised and hugely discussed in the mainstream newspapers and the television programs, Kerala people started saying that any dustbin is an installation, or somebody go to the dustbin or the public, the malwa वो डालता है, उधर जाके ये बोर्ड लगाते हैं, ये installation नहीं है, this is not an installation. It's quite Foucauldian. Like we know that René Magritte painted that this is not a pipe. So then, the Malayalis are famous for their drinking habit. They go to the bar and say that one small installation or one large installation or double large installation with the tonic, a highly cold installation. So, something slowly, the joke gave away and the seriousness came in. What I'm trying to say is that when a new project, a Triennial or a Biennale, something like this happens, a set of new words come into parliaments, a set of new ideas come into our daily practice, a set of new ideas actually start influencing us. Then we started talking about it, thinking about it. As you know that our country is passing through a very, very interesting political phase. And till yesterday, if two young people were hugging in Kerala, some political activists used to go and beat them up. They were in Kerala also has a very dirty marine drive in Kochi. They used to get caned. But hugging has become a national, very dignified national practice since yesterday. You know what I'm talking about. So anyway, a new parlance, a new way of doing things come into the society that actually grabs our imagination by force and make us think about a new society. So any Triennial or any Biennale or any such art projects actually helps us think differently. It helps us to imagine differently. It helps us to envision a new society where people are not confined by limited ideologies, bigotry, and arrogance, violence, and discrimination. So art, as I say, that if there is a little bit of art in everybody, as we have already heard from the dignitaries here, Odisha is a wonderful state with a lot of traditional and contemporary art forms. And when this ArtOTIA 2020 would take place, there will be a sea change, and we are planning this ArtOTIA 2020 to be integrated with other art projects happening elsewhere. Now, with that, I just conclude that this is my imagination, that there will be a future society which would consider man as man, woman as woman, queer as queer. That society will not be discriminated, and that is possible only through art. And the Triennial is one way of doing it. You may ask questions, because when I was sitting there, I heard that why there is ArtOTIA 2018 and ArtOTIA 2020. So they are asking is there a discrepancy in having these two projects or one project? So I would just simply explain that we are going to have a launch program of ArtOTIA Triennial, Odisha Triennial of International Art in December-January 2018-19, and we are going to have the full-fledged Triennial in 2020. So we get enough time and space to work on projects, and also we get enough time to visit the artists in their studios and get good works and good projects. One more thing I want to tell you that this is something slightly different in this sense that OTIA is going to be a decentralized project. Definitely in 2020 it is going to happen in between Puri, Konark and Bhubaneswar, the three holy cities of Odisha. But throughout these 2 years, we are going to have decentralized projects in different states, so that Odisha Triennial goes to other states to spread its wings rather than to get everyone there and centralize. We are for decentralization, and definitely the central hub will be in 2020 in Odisha itself. If you have any questions, I can just answer, otherwise I say thank you.